Welcome to our lesson on dangling modifiers. Today, we will be learning about what a dangling modifier is, why it's important to identify and correct them, and how to do so effectively. First, let's define what a dangling modifier is. A modifier is a word or phrase that describes or gives additional information about another word in a sentence. A dangling modifier is a modifier that is not clearly and logically connected to the word or phrase it is modifying. This can lead to confusion or absurdity in a sentence. Let's look at an example of a sentence with a dangling modifier. Walking to the store, the ice cream melted in my hand. Can you tell what the problem is with this sentence? Now that we know what a dangling modifier is, let's talk about how to identify them. One way to identify a dangling modifier is to look for phrases or clauses at the beginning of the sentence that don't have a clear subject. Another way is to make sure the modifier is logically and clearly connected to the word or phrase it is modifying. Practice identifying dangling modifiers in these sentences. Sitting on the couch, the book was read in one sitting. After eating lunch, the meeting was attended by John. Now that we've identified some examples of dangling modifiers, let's talk about how to correct them. The first step is to identify the modifier in the word or phrase it is modifying. Then, make sure the modifier is logically and clearly connected to the word or phrase it is modifying. If necessary, rephrase the sentence so that the modifier is correctly connected. Practice correcting these sentences. Walking to the store, the ice cream melted in my hand. After studying all night, the test was easy. Let's practice identifying and correcting more examples of dangling modifiers. Here are two sentences with dangling modifiers. Find the dangling modifier and correct the sentence. Running late for the bus, the shirt was grabbed from the floor. Hoping to make a good impression, the presentation was rehearsed several times. We've covered a lot in this lesson. To summarize, we've defined what a dangling modifier is, discussed why it's important to identify and correct them, and learned how to identify and correct them effectively. As a reminder, a dangling modifier is a modifier that is not clearly and logically connected to the word or phrase it is modifying. It can lead to confusion or absurdity in a sentence. Remember to always pay attention to the placement of modifiers in relation to the words or phrases they are modifying and make sure that the sentence is clear and logical.